Tell me that's not beautiful.
Oh, that looks nice.
Right?
Look at that. That looks like a postcard or something.
Yeah, this is big. Oh, it was much bigger in my eye.
Moonception. I'm just walking near the work here.
Every time I'm in front of my camera, my voice changed, my whole body changed.
When I see neighbors, it's funny because I'll be filming and I'll see a neighbor or something. I'll be talking like, yeah, the World Economic Forum, and I'll see a neighbor go, hey, how you doing?
Me too.
If it's a woman especially, I'm like, hey, how are you? Have a nice day.
Oh, like Mike Tyson.
Right, it gets crazy.
Like someone's like squeezing your balls.
Yeah, it feels so douchey. Like, it feels so disingenuous. Like, just be yourself. And then if it's a guy sometimes that I know walking by, or a neighbor or a guy, I'm always like, how you doing? Yeah, I'll give him like one of those like, so man, like that, like,
I'm
hey.
so cool.
Yeah, and it's
Hilarious.
awful the other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Oh, I'm so awful.
Have a good day.
All right, bye. I'll see you a little bit later tonight.
You should go on the beach.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over there and get some ocean stuff.
Oh, when it gets bright, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at those plumeria trees.
Okay, bye.
Oh.
I'll see you later. Did I just bonk him in the head? Yeah, we're talking about food, and how it's all like fucking fake now. I was watching the other day, there's this a YouTube video that was made up of TikTok videos of people showing their fake food. Like there was a banana that looked like it was like a stick of like cheese, like matzo or something, or string cheese. And this other woman talking about having her garbage compactor was stuck, and she went in, cleaned it out, and it was blueberries. And she said they're like rubber. And yeah, this has been happening for a while. I eat a lot of fruit, and when I moved here in like 2016, I was noticing it back then. Like sometimes I eat a lot of watermelon and melon, like different kinds of melon, and I get them in little containers. You know, sometimes at the farmer's market, or sometimes at even like ABC or like Daniel's, and sometimes they're regular. You know what I'm used to, because I mean I've been eating it my whole life, so I know what the consistency is. I know how it's supposed to feel, right? But I'd be eating it and I'd be like, damn, something about this feels wrong. Like it would just feel too hard or just weird. And I noticed with some of them, with the watermelon, it got to a point where it felt like there was like a shell on the outside. Like a crispy shell. That's not how watermelon's supposed to taste. And I thought I was going crazy because, you know, I think everything's like a conspiracy or whatever. So I'm telling Nia, I'm like, yeah, I think they're fucking with the food. This food, there's something wrong with it, you know. And she, you know, she took me seriously. She wasn't saying, you know, that I'm crazy, but it felt crazy. But so as time has gone on, now more and more people are noticing that the food is fucked. And then you look at slowly what has been happening in the news over the years with farms being bought out. You know, people are like, why is Bill Gates buying all this farmland? Bill Gates purchased all kinds of farmland in the U.S. Farmers were ordered to destroy some cattle, eggs, some of their other stuff. Just a lot of weird stuff has been going on in the last 10 years. You know, blowing up, food storage places blowing up. Bill Gates also owns Whole Foods. And, you know, doing these People magazine, like 5-page spreads with him and Oprah, putting a Thanksgiving dinner on a table and singing the virtues of GMOs and Monsanto and how we're making bigger, better food for people. This is all happening slowly. It's all trickling around the you know, in the mainstream and went through the mainstream. And I kept abreast of it. I kept looking at it. You know, I'd always take note of it. But I didn't really kind of put it together until I started, like, you know, having it happen with the food I was eating. Especially the fruit. It's just all fake. You know, like, me brought some strawberries home yesterday, and these things are huge. They're like little fucking apples. I mean, and the thing with me is, like, I've been having this stuff my whole life. You know, I've been eating these foods and these fruits my whole life. I know what they're supposed to be like. I know what watermelon's supposed to be like. Kuhio. Prince Kuhio. The kids today, though, or like younger people, you know, millennials even, or Zoomers, they don't know that watermelon isn't supposed to taste like this, or that strawberries are like the size of a fucking small apple, and they don't have any like taste to them either. They're just like a big, I don't know, it's not what they used to be, you know. And that's because of like GMOs, the shit they pump this stuff with, steroids, and, you know, who the fuck knows what. You know, they're destroying the food supply, you know, to keep people, for many, many reasons they would want to destroy the food supply. And what's happening too with some of the nutrition in this stuff, in a lot of food, not just fruits and vegetables, but I mean, everything's fucking processed. The way people are eating in America, they're basically obese and starving at the same time, because they're eating a bunch of shit that makes them fat and sluggish and blah, but they're not getting any nutrients or vitamins from it. So their body's like exhibiting starvation symptoms. It's that whole skinny fat phenomenon. You know, that's such a, like, we didn't have skinny fat people at any other time that I can think of in history. We didn't have fat people, really, until modern times. You know, walking around here, too, just looking at people, like, a huge portion of men are obese. You know, a huge portion. You know, not always like super giant fat, but more body fat than they should have. You know, and that's the old starving with not getting any nutrition and taking in a lot of calories thing, is what's is what does that, you know. And yeah, it's fucked. We're seeing the fruits of the fruits, you know. But everything's fucking paused. Even bananas, like, they're not the same. Like, I'm eating, you know, Mia always brings home bananas and blueberries, strawberries, stuff like that, just to have around the house. And over time, over the past 10 years, it would be like, you know, unnoticeable. And then once in a while, I'd get a batch that was like, oh, this must be bad, or there's something wrong with this batch, or it's too ripe, or too this, or too that. There's something wrong with them. And now, it happens so often that is just kind of the standard. Like, you know, you bite into a blueberry and there's a snap. Like, there's like a berry. It was never like that. You know, a banana, eating bananas, it's like, you take a bite of them, and there was a mushiness to them before. There isn't a mushiness. They're soft, and you can break them, but if you, like, take it in your hand, peel off, and, like, try to break it in the middle, it breaks almost perfectly. It holds together. It has it's just not normal. None of the food is normal. And people always say, like, you know, grow your own food, and they fuck the seeds up too. All the seeds are fucking GMO and Monsanto. There is really nothing you can do. You know, they have full spectrum dominance here. Satan does, with poisoned air, poisoned water, poisoned food. You know, I was trying to stay away from tap water and just drinking water out of plastic bottles. But you know, now it's looking like the plastic bottles are even worse because of the microplastics that go in them. You can't do anything. The only thing you can do is kind of go find a brook somewhere on your own. This is an awesome statue. That's the Duke. A lot of lace on his arms. Beautiful. That's a great one. That's a great statue. But healing stones over here that they lock up so no one can touch. They're supposed to have magical healing powers. All you have to do is put your hands on them and they can heal you. So what do? You know, evil is, it's all humiliation. So they lock them up just out of reach. Just so they're far enough away that you can't touch them. You can't get to them. They're right there. They're all blocked off, locked up, and you can't touch them. Yeah, I've done videos on this thing before. It's a real crazy story. Hawaii's always falling over themselves to sell out their history and culture, and they tried to do it with this too. The guy from the Bishop Museum wanted to turn this into a transgender monument to transgendered people, because the people that brought these, well, that imbued these stones of power were these healers that were like, they were dual sex. They weren't men or women. They were androgynous beings, as the story goes. So they were trying to make this into a transgender monument for transgender people to come to, and they were going to redo the whole thing and put a plaque and dedicate it. Thank God that didn't happen. The guy that was trying to push it to happen at the Bishop Museum got fired for something bad. I forget. He did some kind of corruption thing. Everyone in Hawaii of any note in any office, politicians or whatever, police, if you look up, Google like Hawaii corruption, and it's just page after page after page. So everybody's always getting in trouble or fired for something. So he got fired and lost his job at the Bishop Museum. So that was kind of the end of that, thankfully. But yeah, the healing stones is a real interesting story about them. You know, they tried to hide them, buried them under a bowling alley. Kleghorn had them in his backyard for a while. Really weird story. They're sometimes known as the wizard stones, or that's what they were called by mainlanders, haoles, like tourists would call them, the wizard stones. There's actually no word for wizard in Hawaiian. But yeah, it's all, you know, I've done a lot of stuff on that. I'm not going to get into it, but it's a pretty trippy story. But yeah, food is fucked, you know. The only thing you can do is just mitigate the poison. You know, like my whole deal is to just eat as little as possible. You know, I used to, like, I don't really even fast so much anymore. For the past couple of years, I was into fasting, and I do these 8-hour fasts and try to get 24 hours to do 24-hour fasts. And I've stepped away from fasting now. This year so far, like since the beginning of 2024, I haven't done many fasts because I'm just at a point now where I hardly ever eat. That's it. Like, you know, I'll go a whole day with just have some popcorn, you know, or something Nia's mom will make for us. Like, she'll make Kobe beef or something with vegetables, and she'll cook it, and I'll have that. But it's like, as far as fast anymore, it's kind of like I got my body in a position where it's burning the stuff, you know. It's not like I like kind of where I'm at, you know. I don't have anything to fast from, you know, and eat enough food to do a fast. And that's like where it's at. You just have to kind of, you don't need much food to survive. You know, there's those sun worshipping people that say, not the Trump sun worshipping Satanist people, not the man, but the people that, the sun gators. say there was a time when you didn't need food. All you would need was the sun to get your vitamins and nutrients, because you get a lot of that stuff from the sun. That's why they're always fucking with the sun too, you know. But yeah, that's where you get a lot of stuff from the sun. And I was supposed to go into something there, and I got rattled by all that activity there. Yeah, so the fuck, where was I going? I'm losing it. No, I'm gonna pull it back. I'm gonna yank it back, and we're gonna get this thing done. We're gonna pull it back together. Oh yeah, and that kind of dovetails in with the idea of some of those old Tartarian buildings not having bathrooms or anything that looked like something that could be used for food or a kitchen. Like, it's like we didn't eat and didn't go to the bathroom. We had these, I know this is a real jump in topic, but you know, and the idea of Tartaria being some kind of an empire that was on the earth many, many years ago, that spanned the globe, and the remnants are around today in most people's towns. You can go to the town hall. It's the same building structure as other buildings around the world. A lot of antennas and Tiquitec and all that stuff. But a thing about that, a common recurring thing, is that there's no bathrooms or plumbing in any of their stuff, and nor is there something that looks like it was a place that would store food or a kitchen or something to create. So it's almost like we didn't eat. We weren't eaters. So there may well have been a time when we survived just off the sun. Who knows? You know, you can't really take anything off the table these days. So many fucking weird things have appeared, and that seem to be true. That it's like it's hard to think anything sounds nuts, you know? I can't take that off the table. I love walking around this time of day, morning, 6 in the morning, no one's around. No new residents. Speaking of new residents, I was walking home like last night, or the night before, from Longs, and I walked by these kids, and I saw there was like a black kid. I couldn't see the other one, and I was like, hey, come see it. And I'm like, nope. Keep walking. And I kind of look over, and one of them was looked like a islander, looked like a local kid, a Pacific Islander. And I'm like, oh, how are you giving him a cigarette, you know? So I stop, and I'm like, yeah, man, I got cigarettes. Here you go. And so I sit down and with him. Oh no! So I go over there, and he's like, hey, do you want to smoke a blunt? I'm like, oh yeah, cool. She's like, sit down, have a seat. So I sat next to him, and the two kids, you know. And I had a Batman figure with me that I got at Ross. And he's like, is that a Batman figure? Or Batman toy? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, why? And I'm like, oh, it's just I bought it. He's like, for you? I don't like that. That's like that new trend where the black kids do that, where they ride like that and try to ride into people and swerve around them. And yeah, that's a new thing you do. Were this before COVID, we wouldn't have to worry about that, because we used to not have black people here. But that's a whole nother story. But so he's like, why do you have that? And I'm like, I don't know, I gotta spend my money on something, man. And he's like, what? I'm like, all right, thanks for that. I gotta get going. Thank you for that. It was nice to meet you. And I look at the black kid, like, it's nice to meet you, man. And he goes, you didn't meet me yet. And I'm like, I don't want to. Do I have to? And I'm like, all right, man, how you doing? My name's Jimmy. And I gotta put my hand out, like, to shake it, and he's very tentative, like, looking at me like I'm, like, you know, like he doesn't want to. And he's like, my name is Steps. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't, I didn't want to talk. I'm just trying to be polite, you know. So finally, he does me the honor of shaking his hand. I was on my fucking way. But yeah, it's sometimes I have funny interactions like that with people on the street. But his reaction to the Batman figure, the local kid, was like bewilderment. I remember when I moved here too. One of my friends, John, was with me one night. We're up at Ross. And this is before I started collecting again. When I first moved here, I went a couple of years without finding anything. And then I started getting the itch again. And we're in the store, I'm looking at this play set, this action figure play set for Spider-Man. I'm holding him like, I think I'm gonna get this. He's like, for who? And I'm like, for me. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, it's cool, I want it. He's like, are you serious, man? I'm like, yeah. You're an adult man. It was just funny. 'Cause, you know, it's true, but some people that don't understand collecting or any kind of thing like that, like toys or comics or anything, there's a lot of people that don't, you know, they're just, it must be so weird to them. Like, they just think it's like fucking crazy. And, you know, I understand. Like, if you come from a background where you didn't know anybody or have anything like that, you didn't know any nerds or anything, you wouldn't understand what that's like. And yeah, it was funny. I didn't get it. I ended up not buying it, but for the first couple of years I didn't collect, and then I forget what it was that got me started again. But once I started, it was all over. It was fucking goodbye Ruby Tuesday, and I was back. It was back in full force. Alright, we're gonna head into Lawrence and try to remember what I wanted to get and why I'm even down here. My Alzheimer's is kicking in. Till next time, try to mitigate your food intake, because it's all poison. So all you can really do is just dodge the poison by eating just what you need to stay alive. And that's it. Until I see you again, don't blame the teacher, blame the school. How do you get up there?
Good morning.
He's up there, but there's another guy there too.
Yeah, I didn't get pregnant.
He's up there, but it's like
I think he's scared.
he seems like, how do I get down from here? How do you get up there, buddy?
He
That's
wants
crazy.
to know too.
Maybe he came on the tree?
Yeah, but I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.